The National CDFI Fund has awarded $1.2 billion in loans and grants to these institutions, which has generated $24 billion, or 20 times, in loans to stabilize communities. Our core approach, as well as those of many other CDFIs, is to provide capital for real estate lending, small business finance, and entrepreneurial services. Our ultimate goal is to bridge the divide in opportunities, help create jobs, and build wealth. We believe, and our experience supports it, that two things are essential for a vibrant community: affordable quality housing and jobs. To illustrate what we do at ShoreBank, let me tell you what others have said about us. In 2007, U.S. News & World Report named our two executives and co-founders among America's best leaders. In 2008, Newsweek said we were an ethical subprime lender and noted that the type of work we do is a risk worth taking. Former President Bill Clinton, who we wish a speedy recovery today, has called ShoreBank the most important bank in America. That's quite an endorsement. In the late 1980s, then Governor Clinton supported starting a rural community development bank in Arkansas, my home state, based on ShoreBank. This was the first replication of the ShoreBank model, and it led to the creation of the Community Development Investment Fund when President Clinton was in office. That's why I joined ShoreBank. After college, I started a traditional business career by taking a finance position in Dallas. My number one goal: to be financially successful. After all, my family had worked very hard and made lots of sacrifices for me to travel the road from Little Rock to the hills of New Hampshire. So while working in Dallas, I received a call from a family friend who was then president of the Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation. He called to discuss a project he was funding to bring this unique bank into Arkansas as part of an economic development strategy to create jobs and affordable housing. Now, at that time, Arkansas was a stop on the way to Mexico for a lot of manufacturers who were seeking low wages and lax environmental laws. So when those factories left small towns, so did most of the jobs. I was intrigued by the idea of demonstrating that banks can have a heart and a soul as well as profits. So I jumped at the opportunity. And I remain grateful to this day for that conversation because it changed my career and my life. Now, the founders of ShoreBank were community leaders who were active in the civil rights movement. They fought the practice of redlining, which at that time was a legal way to deny credit and financing in minority neighborhoods deemed too risky. In fact, Ron Grzywinski was the only banker testifying in favor of the Community Reinvestment Act of 1977, which finally banned redlining. So ShoreBank began by lending to residents who wanted to buy and renovate single and multifamily homes and apartment buildings. We used conventional mortgages to finance rehabbers. Maybe it was a school teacher looking for a way to afford a new home. So to make it work, we helped her buy a 3-flat property. And we continued working with that person, sharing resources like names of certified rehabbers and financial literacy and management services that would ensure that she would become a responsible building owner. That way, she earned the extra income to afford a new home, created additional units of quality, affordable housing, and strengthened the community. As the buildings came back to life, so did the shopkeepers who opened the small businesses and retail outlets to serve those residents. Today, ShoreBank operates in 3 states, Ohio, Illinois, and Michigan, and has assets of more than $2 billion. An affiliate with its own charter, ShoreBank Pacific, operates in Oregon and Washington State. And we have affiliated nonprofits in the Midwest, the Pacific Northwest, and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. These organizations make loans that serve as seed money, and which leverage private investment to create additional economic development opportunities. In the Midwest, our bank has invested over $3 billion, creating 12,000 jobs and 52,000 units of affordable housing. We've been credited with saving and revitalizing many neighborhoods. Here in Cleveland, we began our work in 1994. We came at the invitation of a group of corporate leaders and bankers who wanted a specialized solution for blight in urban neighborhoods. Those Fortune 500 CEOs helped fund the first phase of development that earned Cleveland the reputation as the comeback city in the early 1990s. They pulled out their checkbooks and raised the fund that seeded building state-of-the-art stadiums in downtown for our Cavs, our Browns, and the Indians. This brought renewed energy to the urban core, which had been suffering from flight to the suburbs. The corporate leadership and our mayor at the time, Michael White, then turned attention to the neighborhoods. Cleveland communities had lost many middle and upper class families, both African American and those of Eastern European descent, to suburban neighborhoods. They left seeking better housing opportunities, lower crime, and better schools. So this group of leaders, created another fund that was used to start ShoreBank in Cleveland and to fund Neighborhood Progress, a nonprofit that provides technical support to help develop stronger community development corporations. So ShoreBank would lend money to small companies, faith-based institutions, CDCs and other nonprofits, daycare centers, and health clinics, all of which create jobs and housing that reinvigorate people's lives. And I'm happy to report that the original $7 million in capital for ShoreBank has been leveraged to support more than $170 million in loans in Cleveland neighborhoods. So let me illustrate what we do. ShoreBank has a loan specialist for daycare because we believe that child care facilities are a key component to building strong communities. We work closely with the Alima's Child Care and Enrichment Center, a multicultural daycare center on Cleveland's east side. The owner is a 15-year industry veteran who wanted to create an innovative center that introduced children to ballet, computer classes, foreign language, and art. Now, thanks to this center, hundreds of children are able to find a safe and educational home during the day, while their parents work outside the home to put food on the table, send their children to school, and improve their own financial health. This, in turn, builds a more vibrant community. Our mission is triple bottom line. Not only do we strive to be profitable, but we're equally focused on making sure our services and product have a positive community and environmental impact. Since the mid-1990s, ShoreBank has made the environment a component of our lending decisions because focusing on green can have cascading impact. Our focus on environmental impact began when our bank holding company created ShoreBank Pacific as an affiliate. This was the nation's first bank to focus on environmentally friendly and sustainable development. The bank is providing resources and leadership to enable long-term growth and success in the region's organic farming, fishing, and timber industries. Now, this environmental focus in the Northwest was adapted and applied to meet the needs of our Midwest, more urban markets. In Cleveland, my annual goal is to make sure that 30% of loans are dedicated to projects that have environmentally responsible characteristics. For example, a loan from ShoreBank funded the purchase of efficient technologies for Rosby Resources Recovery. With the new equipment, Rosby recycles, reuses, or resells 90% of the construction and solid waste debris and 100% of the organic material it collects.